Hey, what's up, everybody? Yellow Turtle here with my co-host Beef. Welcome to another episode of the LUKSOfam podcast, brought to you by KEEZ. LUKSOfam podcast is meant to be a short and informational show where we provide some takes on the latest LUKSO news in the space. Today, we have a very special guest who has been a longtime community member of KEEZ and was the person who ran the KEEZ booth at DCentral Tokyo this past month. We got Pharaoh in the house. Before we get into Pharaoh, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
LEEQUID is a liquid staking solution purposely built for the LUKSO blockchain. Users can stake LYX tokens and in return, earn receipt SLYX tokens redeemable one-to-one for the deposited LYX. LEEQUID notably offers flexibility, allowing users to opt in or out of staking at any moment via the protocol's liquidity pool. This feature removes the potentially extensive wait times typically associated with traditional staking methods. With the support of advisors and multi-signatories from the LUKSO team, LEEQUID is steadfast in its commitment to achieving decentralization from the beginning, underlining transparency and trust. Following a thorough audit by consensus, LEEQUID is set to launch in October, integrating suggestions to ensure a seamless and secure user experience. Don't forget to follow LEEQUID on Twitter to stay updated on opportunities for earning passive rewards and contributing to the security of the LUKSO blockchain.
Pharaoh, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Doing great. It's a bit late at night in Tokyo, but that's my golden hour, about 2 a.m. here. And so I'm so honored to be on the LUKSO fan podcast with Turtle and Beef. My name is Pharaoh. I'm here based in Tokyo, and I got a story to tell.
Super excited to have you on. My golden hour is the middle of the night as well, so I feel you on that. It's my nap time actually right now, but I'm making special exception to meet with you because it's totally worth diving into the stuff that you've been digging into in Japan on behalf of KEEZ. So really excited.
So should I get into it? There's so much that happened. So in context, I've been part of the community, I think, very from the beginning, pretty much the KEEZ community when you guys just start up. I was following LUKSO for many years. A bit of a backstory is I've been working in the crypto space for almost 6 years now. And I was organizing an event in 2018. And I had a special guest from Europe, and she was in Taipei, Taiwan. And I was trying to convince her to stop by Japan. And she said, "Oh, I cannot really go because I have a meeting in Berlin. There's something very special happening in Berlin." And so she said, "You should check LUKSO," and she spells it out. And so that was like crazy early. I heard about LUKSO, and I've been following since. And you guys were very early as well. And you were one of the first really to come out on Twitter, and a few years back. So I was like, those guys are onto it. They know what's up. So when KEEZ started to really get together, then I immediately thought, like, I want to work with those guys and I want to work with them, bring them to Southeast Asia. So it was a long plan to get to what happened just last week.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really cool story. I didn't realize you went that far back in the LUKSO ecosystem. And that's cool that you found us on Twitter right away. And we were talking before a little bit, the podcast started. How long ago was that when you first stumbled into KEEZ, and what kind of, drove your passion to join KEEZ and the LUKSO ecosystem?
I was following of course, the development of LUKSO. I wanted to be part of the first wave. And what we were there, there was a group following LUKSO on Twitter, following Fabian. And then I think the CloneX thing happened. And the community kind of, oh, those guys are clones as well, kind of, right? So it was a bit parallel, I think. And so we got a bit distracted, I guess, by CloneX. And then it was great because CloneX, gave us an opportunity to really touch the thing be tangible about digital identity, virtual asset, VR, avatars, and it was perfect. So, and then Fabian, team, and Marjorie. I got to meet Marjorie in Tokyo in 2019. Marjorie and Fabian in 2019, and that's the first time I saw the pink sweaters. I didn't get one, and but it was there. It was really there, and so that's why I was very early. And as soon as I saw people making NFTs related to LUKSO, I said, okay, those guys, I understand where they're going because I'm going there too. And so when KEEZ created a little Discord, I jumped in right away. Just thought like you guys were exactly the kind of people I wanted to work with. So it goes back a few years, definitely.
Yeah, we're super happy that you joined our community, and you're an active member, and that you really stepped up to kind of present the idea, to talk on behalf of KEEZ, and indirectly LUKSO at DCentral Tokyo. Um,
Yes, I wanted to. I think I approached you guys about. I was waiting. Of course, there was COVID, so Tokyo was really locked down. And as soon as it unlocked late last year, about a year ago, and I started really thinking about it right away. And there was an event back in October last year, the first CloneX event, of kind of official event in Japan. And there's a bunch of CloneX creator did this a nice little event, very very creative. You know, people had special T-shirt custom made. They had yokatas, like a Japanese over kind of jacket, custom made for the CloneX. We had business cards, NFC cards, animation on the walls. It was like just, you know, amazing. And I thought, oh yeah, that's the peak. You know, we still miss the technology to push this to the next level because it's just still NFTs. And I was like, those people are gonna work on LUKSO next year. So so when the season for events in Japan, Tokyo, is very centralized. Japan is very centralized in the sense that Tokyo is the main city. There's 30 million people here. And if you do something, you do it in Tokyo where everybody will come. And it's a center as well for Southeast Asia. When the border reopened, everybody in Southeast Asia is just like 3 hours, 4 hours flight to Tokyo. And everybody likes to come here. So finally, there was a good event in early spring. In spring, it was a Eat Tokyo, so it's very techy, and 500-600 developer came to Japan, and that's the first time I got to talk about LUKSO to people directly, and to developer and builders, and so this was very exciting, and I thought, oh, I need to do it a little bit more structure, so people can remember more than just the tech, but you know, get the image. So I think I started to talk with you guys to KEEZ after that event, after Eat Tokyo, and there was the teams event that was pretty good. And then it's difficult for to explain the market to teams, to new project, or to to agencies, because it's a very complex market. So I knew that, hey, I'm keep gonna hammer it and they'll get it. So I think we started about 4 months ago, and we had a very busy season in Japan, like 3, 4 major events, and then there was Decentral coming, organized by my close friends called Esther. And Decentral is a big brand. They do Decentral Miami, and they did, I think, several events in the United States. And I thought, this is it. Like, this is the opportunity. So I really push hard with you guys to make this happen. And I mean, I really, really, really push. I think that advice to everybody, anybody in the community. If you want something, you have to oversell. You have to be really confident, and don't give up easy if you believe in it. So when finally, after second, third proposal, you guys said yes, and I was on my way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm very glad you did. Me and Sage actually went to Decentral in Miami this past year. and it was a great time. It was a really well organized event with a lot of really top tier projects there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you convinced us to set up a booth for KEEZ, and just pass out some pink pills to people, right? And you're wearing some amazing merch that you designed that I'm a little upset I didn't get one, but we'll get to that later in the show. We'll have to get that design from you and we'll get some more made because it was, you looked great. You looked the part. There's a few videos which we can put up and post with you wearing your clone in the KEEZ merch. It looked great. And, you sounds like you have a ton of experience at these events prior. And yeah, I'm really glad you're a representative of KEEZ this past month. And then, so because you've gone to so many of these events, what kind of strategies did you employ to ensure, this was going to be a success?
Yes, so I thought, I could have just attend with the t-shirt and, talk to people but I thought the booth was worthy for us. I was working with my friend, so it was in the budget, and I thought like Keys is very visual. Right? We're very visual. It's a visual project. Like it's an agency, digital avatar. We're all clones, and it's very visual. I think people needed something visual to have an impact because, well, yeah, LUKSO, the 10 new protocol, 10, 15, it's very techy in a sense. So it's not an easy pink pill. So that's why I thought, okay, I can get a booth, and the size of the event was right, and the timing was right. So I thought that from my experience, to be a big sponsor, of course, is good for it looks great, but a small booth at the right place, you get a lot of exposure. People do remember the logo, and KEEZ is very easy to remember the name, and I thought it would work. And I was comfortable that I could pitch what we gonna do. And the timing was right. So it's all about timing. And I thought that being a mid-sized event was better. It was a perfect opportunity. The risks were very low. I knew it would work for branding KEEZ and put, some pink pills in people's brain. And yeah, so I was very excited about doing this. And I wanted something that is a springboard, like really, putting the seed and continuing to build on it, because now it's going to be winter. Of course, going to be a lot more things online than in the real world. But now we have established, at least, Asia's Japan do things very methodically and slowly. So if we want to do something for early 2024, we had to get started right now. So we can do great things, but things takes time in Japan. Other places in Southeast Asia, things move very quickly. But I'm here based in Japan, and we had to establish very early that we're the next thing.
Could you talk about, you kind of were involved in one of the main stage demonstrations and talks about, I forget which
Okay.
topics.
Yeah, so we had a panel. So my friend Esther like asked me, do you want to moderate the panel about metaverse? And I said yes right away. And then after it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a challenge to keep it tight. And but it ended up pretty cool. One of the speaker couldn't make it, so we were three, and we had a pretty good. We had 30 minutes, so that's pretty cool. And there was a builder from New York that's doing like cap kind of scanning people into full 3D, and there was an influencer woman, a girl, TikTok, the web too, right? She was a kind of coming out, kind of getting very popular girl doing podcasts from the street of Tokyo. So it was really interesting panel. And yeah, I thought that this time I would do good in a conversation setup instead of doing a presentation with the slide, because I thought LUKSO is still a little bit too technical at this point to be, I'm not Fabian. So, but in a conversation, I think people, I was able to explain how, you know, if you want to build a brand in in Web3, you need more than just an NFT and a picture on your Twitter account, and it has to be at the protocol level. And right now, 4337 and things are there is still not the thing, and LUKSO is going to bring that thing. So I was very confident because that's what people actually really want. So I kind of related to what Fabian says, like, your problem, we understand them, and we're bringing at least one solution. And so I think people were really excited about that when I'm talking to them, because finally they understand the value of a digital brand. But managing with just NFT on Ethereum is very expensive and it's very complex. I told them, like, yeah, we there's a new thing coming where it's built for your digital identity. It's built for creator. It's built for digital fashion. And that's, a lot of people really like that. Although the whole week was mostly about gaming, people understand gamers have digital identity that they really care about as much as their game assets, right? So there was so much to talk about. So I would say that I kind of perfect the pitch over the last few months, because I had to introduce, well, it has to be clear though, that I would say I have to tell the numbers. 95% of people I talked to didn't know about LUKSO, right? So that's the reality in Southeast Asia still for now. And so from Eat Tokyo, where I'm talking to developer people doing the hackathon and everything, where the percentage is a bit different, whereas about 80, like 20% knows about LUKSO, versus a regular event, Web3 event, where it's only 5% know. But then when I talk about the ERC20, and everybody understand that, the guy who created the ERC20 now has made the ERC 725. So that's the first, that really helps people to, get their attention. And then when I talk about contract profile, protocol for their profile and digital identity, that works as well. And yeah, so that was pretty much perfecting the pitch over the last several months, and having an opportunity to deliver that pitch from the booth, physical space where people come to me. That was a really good setup. So yeah, that was really great. So I had a great time. It was not so difficult, and I had a little digital screen behind me, that my friend pretty much lent to us for almost for free, and I could show them the looping clip from the Pink Pill show and say, "You see, that's the guy I'm working with. Like, we're all already digital avatar people. We're already doing it." So that is very exciting to show people, like, it's not, we're already doing it. It's just gonna get more, tangible in the next few months.
Right. And I actually had two quick questions about that. You said that the week was mostly focused on gaming. Had the Unreal Engine partnership with LUKSO already come out, or is that slightly after the conference? And then I also wanted to know, how was that video from Alton ETH received by everyone at the conference?
Well, I think because people see the booth was in the entrance, right? So everybody that went to the event, to DCentral, walked by our booth with the looping clip. So when they saw on stage like a bit extended clip, it was just better because the sound. My setup had a very low sound because it didn't want to disturb the next booth. But yeah, with the full sound, they lowered the light and we look really good. It's people cannot wait to be in full VR. Now gaming, I think that no, that announcement was not out yet.
Hmm.
So, but I was I talked to some project actually that I kind of talked with a few years back when they started their gaming on Web3, and now they're at different stage of that of that development. And of course, there was the Tokyo Game Show. Right? So people that don't know, the Tokyo Game Show is the biggest gaming conference in Japan, and it was just like 2 days after DCentral. So a lot of people flew in from Singapore, Hong Kong, China, and they arrived a few days before the conference, the Tokyo Game Show, and they came to DCentral. And so I talked with builders, people making game, people developing the game, and VCs investing in games. So of course the gaming, there was a lot of talk about gaming. My I like gaming and everything, but I was really interested more into how they're going to manage the profile for the gamers. And they still have the same issue we had a few years back when I work on in the gaming space, Web3 gaming. And so again, I told them, look, there's some interesting solution coming up. So yeah, unfortunately, the announcement was not there. I think we're gonna have an opportunity to bring that later on when we start to apply the early demos. So yeah, there was no problem about that.
Comparing the bull market reaction to NFTs in America and then kind of turning towards Japan, what were the differences that you kind of saw, like when you looked at Twitter and then kind of like what was happening on the ground in events in Japan during the bull run?
Okay, so the bull run happened when Japan was locked down during COVID. So I think in America, people were still going around a little bit. And I was planning to go to, I think, NFT NYC 2020. And I had to cancel because I wasn't I wasn't sure I was able to come back to Japan
Hmm.
to re-enter. So that's tell you the timing. And then we just reopened in late 2022. So the whole bull run and everything was online. And in Japan, well, the NFT people were a bit skeptical, maybe because I think in Japan there's people traders, investors. So a lot of people traded that bull run, and but I think the art itself, a lot of people were skeptic in Japan because this is the place of anime, and digital art is everywhere. So the standard, a lot more.
Hmm.
I think some project I was not too impressed. So something very interesting. I have to name it, of course, is Azuki, right? That
Hmm.
really pushed the Japanese thing, I think, before kind of the same time as CloneX, but really, people would think, my God, you can get that in Akihabara done in like a few hours. But Azuki was interesting because they were the first one to do a small event in Japan during COVID, pretty much. And there was something happening there a little bit. And but mostly the bull run and the NFT trading, OpenSea, odd blocks and everything, pretty much had a very low impact in Japan, a very low participation
Hmm.
versus Japanese investing and trading heavy in crypto hasn't stopped, never stopped. Like when Japan is one of the biggest volume in crypto trading. So the bull run it was really not tangible as much in Japan, but many projects came out late at the end of the bull run. Nice IP, famous game artists came out, and mixed result means some of those sold out. And yeah, so I think there was like two three major projects that did good in Japan, and now they're a bit struggling to bring more value, but they had some success here. And Japan, some doesn't export as well in the crypto space, so that's why you don't know those projects, because they haven't fixed that exposure, global exposure. So I think, yeah, there's about three good projects here in NFT, strong community, and that do pretty good. I would say the top 20 collection out there, which is, I don't even know the name actually. I will have to double check because branding is it's an issue. But one thing is sure, the NFT here has a huge impact. That after the bull run and everything, NFTs in all the conversation, almost of all project or L1, L2. When they come to Japan, if they talk about gaming, it's still NFT. So actually, NFTs are doing quite well in Japan now, and it's going to be a major, major market for NFTs.
Yeah, I think he had an interesting point that I didn't really think about. That anime originated in Japan. So these kind of one-off PFP projects that people were falling for in, Europe and the United States, I assume mostly the United States, people in Japan just kind of saw right through that, right? And they really waited for projects that had, not only fantastic art, but utility backed behind it, which kind of brings us into the next segment of we're all Artifact CloneX here. So, how did Artifact kind of did they take anything by storm? What was
Oh,
overall people's
yes,
reaction in Japan?
definitely. So CloneX really, they hit a home run here from the beginning. I think they had a huge bet with Murakami, and it definitely paid off. So they had massive exposure. They had articles in digital magazine. Japanese still buy magazine because the creative. There's so many people working in gaming studios, like publisher. They do buy magazine because they see the name of their company in the magazine. They see, article, deep depth article, and CloneX had those articles in printed media and of course online media as well. But when it's printed, on the front cover, it gives you so much more, legitimacy. People really say, okay, those guys are serious. And of course, when Nike came along, so clones. So that's why you saw people, Japanese, trusting the clones because of big name, the Nike. So people invested a lot. Now, did Artifact, capture all this or understand on this, you know, I don't know. I don't want to comment on that because the story is still ongoing. So we'll see where it
Mhm.
goes. But CloneX, in Japan are always gonna be special. It's established brand that the clones. So we're doing good. I'm happy to be a clone. It works when I'm in Japan. When we go to event, there's always a clone. There's always almost a Clone
Mm.
X T-shirt, almost everywhere. Every crypto event, there's always a clone because they are active. So the clone gangs, once you guys come to Japan, you'll see this clones everywhere. So it's very exciting. So that's why it's a really great proof of concept, Clone X, like quality T-shirts with the NFC tag, and people
Mm.
love to wear the brand. So it's not the first project to do that, but definitely that was some of the best quality T-shirt I've seen was the Clone X Tokyo like collaboration,
Mm.
and that was very inspiring. So when I did the KEEZ T-shirt, I wanted to at least have the material to be like a nice heavy cotton quality T-shirt, and people comment on your T-shirt all the time. I hope you guys can experience that in the right setting. Of course, if you had this, at the shopping mall and some stranger come to you because it's a bit freaky. But if you're in a meetup, a blockchain meetup, and people come to you and say, "Hey, you're a clone. I'm a clone." Shares his some most people have used their clone on their business cards, and it's a fam. It's great. So I think when I tell people LUKSO, there's a lot of CloneX or LUKSO as well. It's nice. It's really nice that there's a fam between in the fam, and I'm not gonna reveal too much, but I'm sure next year it's gonna explode like the clones on LUKSO. Just a
I
prediction.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And yeah, me and Beef have been talking about getting our hands on that T-shirt design for KEEZ. We'll definitely have to get more of those made. I just love the design of it. I loved it. It was simple. It looked like a nice quality shirt. Really well done. And that was all you, right? Like you're the community member who took it upon himself to do this with us and honestly help us out. And
Oh yeah,
you
and
really
I'm
took.
not an illustrator guy, so I had to do some tracing for the pictures. It was like a big stress event, and so those were custom T-shirts. So you go there, and if you order online, you get the better price, and you have to be in advance. But I was absolutely last minute, so I did some tests. I went to the shop directly to the shop, Japan full service. So all the samples were there. It's really nice experience. The t-shirt was ready in 2 hours. And then I
Oh
said,
wow.
oh, I can do better. I'll come back in 2 days. Then I got the first one. But it's so exciting to do tangible things. Like I wish I could do some t-shirts is just so much fun. So I make it short, but I collect crypto t-shirt over the years. All the conference they give you t-shirts and everything. And sometimes it's really nice t-shirt, and it's just fun. It's just great. I'm sure you guys too, have some sort of like favorite tees, whatever from whatever. But guys do love we do love our t-shirts.
Yeah, I seen those pictures and I seen that shirt and I was just like, I need one of those. So we've got to figure out a way to get our hands on it for sure.
Oh, are those one of one? Okay, but I'm talking to some guys from we did the NFC chips for the decentralized T-shirt, so
Mm.
we'll have a story about that soon because that's the only thing I was missing out of the teas. Like I wanted to have an NFC tag, but it was a bit more work. So if we do the next batch for us, for the KEEZ gang, I think we should do that, and I think we can do even more. Like we can improve on the original because they can do better if you have more time. The print guys, so that's something we have to work on.
Yeah, hopefully
And
in the future too, we can link the NFC chip to the digital asset in the KEEZ universal profile. That would be ideal.
oh, absolutely. So yeah, so we have to talk about where LUKSO is and where KEEZ because when I talk to them, so I say KEEZ, we're building on LUKSO, right? And now the main net is been live for 5 months, 4 or 5 months, and there's still a few things to come. The main extension, the wallet, and once the wallet is released, then everything is possible. A few audits later, then we'll have the KEEZ NFTs coming out. We'll have then a lot of demo and visual demo and people to actually onboard people. So I, so I brainstormed a little bit about. I was thinking should I tell people to get on the test net, but I kind of pushed that aside, and I just got people curious. And then when we come back, we do a next thing in a few months, then it will be onboarding experience. So if I do a small event or something, people will need to have the up running to get in, and yeah, just get a bit of a force, onboarding. But I think people just need a good incentive, and they're gonna be so excited to try something new. So that aspect. I wish I had something to people to touch, but that's the next thing. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. What are some upcoming events that we should be on the lookout for in Japan?
So Japan now, okay, yeah, we had like a massive last 6 months, like five major events. So now people are looking to, and then the Tokyo Game Show is the final event of the year. So what's coming next is some event across Southeast Asia, Vietnam, and Hong Kong and Thailand. And in Japan will be more private event, smaller private event. Actually, whoops, there's one tonight. This is this small meetup. It's going to be under 100 people. So those are going to happen pretty much there's small events happening in Tokyo now. This was happening a few years ago before COVID, but now you see what's coming up is there's NFT galleries that are active now, very popular because there's, Tokyo space are small. So when you get 50 people looks back, it's like a small bar, your favorite small bar in your town. And on weekdays evening, there's 40 people, it looks packed, and it's a great time. So you got that vibe that's coming to the Web3 space. There's NFT galleries, they're a really cool place to hang out. There's crypto hubs that are just open, and they're going to have those, more technical presentation, and those are happening weekly. There's always something happen. So every week I could go to probably one or two meeting, one art gallery showcasing some NFT artists, and one, kind of official meetup where there's a presentation, a technical presentation about a project. So all this is going to be, that's what's happening over the next few months in Japan. So once there's some big announcement for technical announcement for LUKSO and KEEZ, then we'll do a s we'll arrange a small meetup, technical meetup for the community in Japan to see the details and onboard people who wants to build and work with us. So that's what's coming. So I think we're waiting for the extension, up extension, and as soon as I feel it's if I have a great experience, personal experience with it, then I think it's ready for other people, and then we'll do something hopefully before the end of the year. So yeah, so definitely that's what's coming. I would say just after, as soon as up is ready, I'm gonna book something the week after.
Yeah,
So
it sounds like we'll need to get you some more merch.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. If we do that event, it has to be for like pretty much for everybody. Every attendee should get you know some swag.
Yeah.
That's a given because yes, just because right. Then yes, it's so exciting, and I just love it because that's what I want to do. I want we're I think we're all been it's almost like preaching. I don't want to use that words, but you believe in something and it's for the good cause. It's to empower people, and that's why I'm in the blockchain, to empower the individual, the creator, the user, and I think it's gonna work. And I try not to speculate too much about what we're gonna build because I think, like Fabian said, this is a new stack, so we have no clue. There's going to be new things that have never been done before, and that's why kids, some teens are going to come up with something in a hackathon. And there's a hackathon coming up. I think we cannot do the official announcement yet, but that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be so exciting to bring new things to the space. So cool. So that's what.
Absolutely. Before we start wrapping up, this has been a great episode. I want to thank you for being a part of this community. Hosting a table and a booth at DCentral Tokyo. Really went above and beyond, and helped KEEZ get our first step in the door at events, at conferences. So we really take an inspiration from you. Is there anything that you want to tell the audience? Anything you want to plug or share about before we start wrapping up?
Okay, so I think my message would be to, of course, the targeted means people building on LUKSO, right? The project building on LUKSO. Southeast Asia is inevitable, means you have to come to Southeast Asia if you're serious to build in the Web3 space. And Tokyo is a great place to start. It's very inspiring to be here. So if you have a project, you're building on LUKSO, you 3 months out, 6 months out to have your MVP or a live product, you have to come here early. You have to work with KEEZ early, talk to us, and plan in advance, and you get a lot more result than coming out late. At after your product is ready, and then you have to rush it out. Rushing doesn't work much, I think, in the Japanese market. So come early, work with us early, and digitally, what we're doing is empowering all those smaller project or developer or people coming out from the hackathon. We'll be able to aggregate the resources between project and then push to Southeast Asia. So talk to us, talk to the KEEZ core, and then talk to me later once you have a plan and can and let's work together. And the big guys are gonna come with us too. We're really the first coming out, but I know that there's gonna be a lot of people in the LUKSO community that are gonna follow us our early steps. So that's my message. I'll say is, if you want to come to Japan, don't miss this market, but come early, plan early. That's the message.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know personally I'd love to go to Japan. I think, you know, Turtle would share that sentiment with me. We'd all go to events and then maybe get some Wagyu afterwards.
I just got my passport.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Oh, it's been awesome. And yeah, there's going to be a lot happening behind the scene. Of course, a lot of people wants to talk to with us. So we have some follow-ups in the next call, maybe in 2 months' time.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Beef, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, as always, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment on our videos. Pink Pill Productions. Check out our other videos. We got the wrap up coming up this Friday, as every Friday. It's a YouTube live stream. And just as we close out here, remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just a couple of dudes talking about what we love.
Peace out.